And a very, very good afternoon live from our Edinburgh studio. You're tuned in to All In with Ali. It's a today's Monday, May the 5th, and we had a lot of things happen over the last week, including not one, not two, not three, but four game sevens this weekend. And that's what we're gonna lead off with here, starting with Saturday's slate of game sevens, which if you're a Colorado sports fan, it was a real mix of emotions because one of your teams won and the other one, well, we'll get to that in a bit. First off, I'd like to start with the Clippers and the Nuggets, and in a game that was not even close. I mean, Nuggets went out with a purpose and they took over absolutely in the second quarter of this game. They entered the second quarter down 5 and then dropped 37 to take the lead, and they did not look back. I mean, this was a team effort all the way. Aaron Gordon led the way with 22 and 36. Jokic nearly had a triple-double again. He was just 2 assists shy of that, 16 and 10 in points and rebounds, respectively. Jamal Murray, 16 points, 5 rebounds. Christian Braun, 21 points. And then Russell Westbrook off the bench, dropping 16, 5, and 5. Just an all-around great effort. And the funniest thing happened right towards the third quarter of that game. Russell Westbrook with the steal and the dunk. He hung on the rim knowing he was going to get a tech, but then him jawing in front of the fans. I think he knew he was getting teed up right there no matter what, and he definitely got his money's worth right there. Just an incredible game if you're the Nuggets, but not so much if you're the Clippers. And the biggest question of the Clippers is where did James Harden go? Where is he? We're still waiting for him to show up. I mean, this is a game 7, and he just didn't show. This is the fourth game 7 on 4 different teams where Harden is nowhere to be found. I mean, he'll get you there. He'll get you to the playoffs for sure. After that, who knows what? I mean, he'll in 35 minutes. Get this. This was his final stat line for that game. In 35 minutes of play, starting at the 2 guard, Harden dropped a whopping 7 points, 13 assists to go along with 5 rebounds. I mean, bravo. 7 points in a game 7 is just for a player that's getting paid that much money, who has as much who is expected to be as good as James Harden is. I don't know what it is. He just consistently doesn't show up whenever the going gets tough. And I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he showed up. This is the first series that we've seen Kawhi healthy in a while, and he had a great game in this one, 22 points. But I mean, he was really the only one that him alongside Zubats, who had 14 rebounds tonight or the other night. I mean, where do the Clippers go from here? And I mean, where do the Clippers go? Because this is something, I mean, you can't really judge a team off of one game performance, but if it's game 7 of a playoff series, do or die, win or go home, you can't do anything like that. And it's especially embarrassing because Steve Ballmer, the owner, flew out the wall of Clippers fans to Denver to witness that. And to those who flew out, and I'm sorry you had to witness that dismantling, but that's there's no other way you could describe that game other than a beatdown after the second quarter started. It's just unbelievable. So next round's going to be a great matchup. And if you're Colorado, you're glad the Nuggets won, but on the other side, down in Dallas, where the Colorado Avalanche were taking on the Dallas Stars, it was not so great sailing there either. I mean, when the Avs went up, they were up 2 goals at the start of they were up by 2 goals with halfway home left to go in the third period of that game. I mean, one goal shot by Nathan MacKinnon, because Nathan MacKinnon is Nathan McKinnon. He's just really good. You can't really keep him out of the score sheet for long. It's 6 shots on goal, and one of them went in. But that's when Mikko Rantanen absolutely woke up. He had an incredible performance in this game with the Stars down by 2 goals. Absolutely historic performance. Had 4 points, the hat trick, got the first goal to get the Stars on the board, tied the game himself, assisted the go-ahead goal, and then iced the game on the empty netter to complete the hat trick. I mean, that's got to be the first time in NHL history that has happened. And I believe that it is the first time in NHL history that has happened. An absolutely historic performance by Mikko Rantanen, and this game will forever be known as the Mikko Rantanen revenge game. He started the season for Colorado with a hat trick at the beginning, and then he sends them home on a hat trick for the Dallas Stars. And I mean, just a great performance there. And the AAC went absolutely nuts. And right now, that's about the only thing Dallas has going for them are the Dallas Stars, because the Mavs traded Luka. They did not advance out of the play-in. The Cowboys, I'm still trying to figure out what they're doing. And the Rangers, well, we'll get to them later, but it's been a bit of a tough stretch for them. So right now, the Stars are the best thing that Dallas has got right now. And in the next round, they will be facing the Winnipeg Jets. We'll talk about that right now. This whole series between the Blues and the Jets, home cooking was the name of the game. I mean, every single game out of the 7 played in this series, all incredible games, by the way, were won by the home team. So let's just set it here. Blues are up 2 in the third period. They were up 2 going into the third period. They had the lead 3-2 to close out the game. All they had to do was keep the puck on the boards, but somehow it got loose, and with 1.6 seconds left on the clock, tie game. I mean, we've seen some absolutely exciting hockey from the playoffs in these last couple games, not to mention also this weekend how the Toronto Maple Leafs nearly blew a 3-0 series lead, but they managed to close it out in Ottawa, and they will face the Panthers in the next round. But this game goes to double overtime, and then after 2 overtimes of intense hockey, Lowry tips it in, game-winning shot. That's game, series, match, and they will face the Dallas Stars in the next round. And I mean, this weekend was just the absolute best that playoff hockey had to offer. And if you're not paying attention to the NHL playoffs, give it a watch. It's some of the most intense things you'll ever see is 2 teams just absolutely dueling at it for 7 games on the ice. And last but certainly not least, for the slate of Game 7s that we had this week was between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. And I mean, 3 things happened for certain: death, taxes, and Steph Curry sending the Rockets packing and out of the playoffs. And you were thinking going into this game, with the Warriors having been up 3-1 and Rockets slowly clawing back into the series, you're thinking, oh no, this might be a repeat of 2016 all over again. But but playoff Jimmy showed up. Steph Curry as well, 22 points and 10 rebounds to go with 7 assists, taking over in the fourth is Steph Curry. You can't really stop Curry from scoring late in games.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Once the buckets start falling, oh man, this game is over. And then story of the night, though, I would say had to be Buddy Hield. He was absolutely on fire in the first half of that game. Finished the game with 33 points overall, and the Warriors advanced with on a blowout, beating the Rockets 103-89. And the next round of the playoffs promises us some good matchups. I mean, we got the Warriors and the Timberwolves starting tomorrow at 8:30. I'm really looking forward to that series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. It's gonna be good.
Very good. I mean, Anthony Edwards has been really good in this postseason, and then Steph Curry and the Warriors are a championship organization through and through. So it's going to be an interesting
Yep.
matchup. And then the Nuggets go on to face a very well rested Thunder team too. So
I didn't expect the Thunder was actually gonna make it though, but they did.
they were the deepest team in the West all year. They've been playing really good basketball to this point, and now that team with Shea, they're gonna be well rested because they just finished a sweep.
Mhm.
And so that series, I could very easily see that going to 7 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And as for the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics, that series begins tonight at 6. I'm really looking forward to that. Those are two of the 1 and the 3 seed in the East. Those are two teams that have been playing good basketball all year, and this is a matchup that many of us are excited to see. I'm and well, the Pacers. The other story I wanted to talk about here in the NBA was Pacers stealing Game 1 against the Cavs. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton for I feel like when people when that poll came out that said that the players said that Tyrese Halliburton was the most overrated player in the NBA, he saw that and pretty much took that personally. He uh he and Andrew Nemhard led the way with 22 and 23 points respectively. Halliburton also at the one guard, 13 assists. It was just a great performance for him. He was the story of the night there as the Pacers take game 1 121 to 112. What a night for Tyrese Halliburton, and the Pacers are absolutely going to have to rely on him throughout the rest of the series because those Cavs are not going to go down without a fight. Absolutely not. I mean, that just goes for any team that's got Donovan Mitchell on it. But I'm saying this series is at the very least going to go to 6. The the Cavs have consistently been the best team in the East all year, and the Pacers have surprised a lot of people, knocking the Bucks out in the last round and taking Game 1 the way they did. This is going to be a great one. And last but certainly not least, some other news that happened in the NBA this week. Greg Popovich will no longer be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs starting this season. He has now shifted his role and will be the team president from here on out, with Mitch Johnson taking over the starting job as the head coach of the Spurs. I mean, this was a decision that was a long time coming, and with the health concerns that Pop has had, it was a decision that he had to make sooner rather than later. And I mean, the coaching on an NBA sideline has got to be probably one of the most stressful jobs, and it's certainly it. And I'm glad that Coach Pop was able to come to a decision, and he's still going to be around. He's still going to be very much involved in the organization. And as much as we would have loved to see him coach for another 10 years on the sidelines, that was ultimately his decision. And good luck to Coach Pop, man. What a legend. To say he's greatest head coach in NBA history, in my opinion, bar none. Five championships, a coaching tree that extends far and wide. I mean, some of the best head coaches in the league right now owe their success to Coach Pop. I mean, Mike Budenholzer, Steve Kerr, who played under Coach Pop, Ime Udoka, who played and coached under Pop, Becky Hammon, who now leads the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA, led them to a championship recently, and was the first woman to coach an NBA game. Coach Pop's influence on the game of basketball cannot be underestimated. You cannot. I could sit here and list off the amount of accomplishments that he's had, but that cannot understate the impact that Coach Pop had on the game of basketball. And it's all. I wish him nothing but the best. Congratulations on being the team president now, Coach Pop. And and now with Mitch Johnson as the head coach and Pop as the president, this is going to mark an offseason of a lot of firsts for the San Antonio Spurs, and we'll come back here next semester to cap it off, as this is unfortunately the last show of the semester. We'll take a brief break here on All In with Ali, but we'll recap the Champions League. We got some other news from UTRGV Baseball this week, and we got much more coming up. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back after the break You're listening to Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. And we are back. Welcome back, listeners. You're listening to All In with Ollie on Vaquero Radio, the Valley's student station. Let's just recap the first leg of the semifinal of the Champions League, starting with the PSG Arsenal. I mean, Dembele within 4 minutes of the game. Absolutely incredible.
It was really good. I cannot believe it though. It was. I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I knew that, like, I said last week that I wouldn't have been surprised if this had gone into a 2-2 tie going back on the return.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it to be as defensive of a grind out as it was throughout the game. But I mean, Dembele within 4 minutes of the game starting.
4 minutes, bro. After that, who do you thought has like the best game?
I don't
I
know.
think it was PSG though. For
Yeah.
my part, I think it went more into the other.
Because they were absolutely just trying to, as much as Arsenal was trying to get back into it, they were just getting locked out. That's.
I find it just crazy to see that a team that struggled too much
Mhm.
with PSG when they didn't seem like it struggled a lot with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I feel like it was crazy. I didn't saw it to as strong as I saw it with Real Madrid. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see him play that exact same way that they played against Real, and that's exactly why they needed that's what they needed to bring against PSG, and they simply didn't. If they bring that, I think they have a chance on the return leg going back to the Parc des Princes. But
I mean, I think what they had to do is not to make any falls, so it's so you don't end up like Real Madrid, because all the goals were just with the
oh,
ball just settled. It was free kicks.
yeah, it's just yeah.
So I'll say that. But what do you thought about the Barcelona Inter?
Oh man, incredible.
What do you thought about
I'd say that is what a Champions League night should look like.
Yes, definitely.
That is the best that the Champions League has to offer.
Yeah, what do you thought about Lamine Yamal goal? It was
It's
good,
like
right?
it's like everything that leaves the foot of Lamine Yamal is just an absolute beauty. I mean,
What a goal! What a
wow.
goal!
I mean, and he's only what, 17? Oh,
Almost. I say he's with just only one step
mhm.
to be on a final. Like
Yeah.
as a 17 years old.
He's already played in a final at six. What? No, he turned 17 right
17.
before. He turned 17 right before the Euro final. But I mean, to do what he's doing at his age is just beyond comprehension. Like, I don't even think Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, they weren't playing as many games as Yamal was at 17.
No, and I like how in this game, uh, he went as a change. I don't know if you
Mhm.
knew that.
Yeah.
He was not even a starter, so it's perfect. He came in right away making a goal, man.
Absolutely incredible. And Dumfries with a legacy game. He scored 2 goals in this game. If that's something that's more or less overlooked by Yamal and Jan Sommer when he tied the game,
Yeah.
that's overlooked. But Dumfries had 2 goals in that game.
Oh, bro, he. I will say that's how a game should look like. I know Barcelona right now will be focusing on Real Madrid,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I really look forward to that back game because I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Barcelona's, but now I don't know.
Yeah, and especially because they're going back to the San Siro. It's one of the
Yeah.
probably one of the toughest atmospheres to play a road game in the Champions.
But that's the Champions League. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, like that's the perfect example. Like don't miss it. Like it's
yeah.
gonna be a good one.
You absolutely don't miss that. The next leg should be taking place this week. Inter and Barcelona. That's tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
That's tomorrow 2 o'clock. Yes, sir.
And then next or on Wednesday, that's going to be the second leg between PSG and Arsenal. So absolutely don't miss it if you haven't watched any of the games in this Champions League. It's a new format. It's a lot of firsts for a lot of different clubs, but now that we're getting down to the last 4, this is about as incredible of Champions League football as you'd come to expect from the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So grab your popcorn and don't miss it. Other news this week, UTRGV will be hosting tournament games now.
Yep.
Finishing top 2 in the Southland Conference, they will be hosting games. The last game of the regular season will be on May 13th, but the bracket play of the Southland Conference tournament starts on May 15th and extends throughout the 18th. And yes, we will have tournament games played here in Edinburgh, which it's gonna be an absolutely electric atmosphere. I mean, judging from a lot, I've been to a lot of the games this year, and the crowds are always incredible. The baseball is incredible, and if you're gonna go to the games, get there early and be loud because this we were ahead of the season. UTRGV was picked to finish fourth. And right now, and finishing top two with the expectation to finish middle of the pack is just incredible. The baseball teams played some good baseball, especially lately down the stretch. I believe they're currently on a 5-game winning streak as of right now. Uh, the final standings. UTRGV finished in second. Southeastern finished in first. So those two teams will be hosting tournament games, and it's going to be an incredible sight. If so, the team's going to need your support. Pack up, pack the baseball stadium. Get there early and be loud. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. And while we're on that, Armani Raygoza, Southland Conference Hitter of the Week. During that 5-0 stretch, he went 11 for 23 with 2 home runs, 4 doubles, and 9 RBI, including a game where he went 5 for 6 against Texas Tech. I mean, the team is playing good baseball at the right time. It's exactly what you want to do going into a major tournament, and we're certainly excited for it. By then, the semester is already going to be over, so now that the semester's over and we don't have to worry about finals as much, so go out and enjoy and go out and see the tournament. It's going to be incredible, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. We'll be back later with we'll be back with to talk more baseball in the next segment, but in the major leagues, we'll also recap final programming in the next as we head into the final week of programming here on Vaquero Radio and on this day in sports history. And don't touch that dial. We'll be back after the break. You're listening to Vaquero Radio, the Valley Student Station. And we're back. Welcome to All In with Ollie. Couple notes on the MLB this week, and this has been, let's just say, interesting week for the American League West. And starting with the Seattle Mariners. I mean, they've been on fire lately. That's first and foremost. And that the pitching staff of the Mariners has always been good enough to carry them. It's just finding something on offense that's been their problem. And now that they did find something on offense this week. Jorge Polanco, for starters, he's been the best hitter. He's been the best hitter for the Mariners as of late. They they recently played a divisional matchup against the Texas Rangers, who we will get to later. But as of right now, they stand with a 2-game lead in that division, 7 games over 500. Athletics are second, 19 and 16 so far. Astros are in third, 3 games behind the Mariners, and just 1 game over 500. And the Rangers currently are under 500 by just a game. But we'll get to that later. And that's what I thought was going to be the key. I did not understand why the Mariners didn't go out and signed offense, but I guess they found 1 week where their offense just got red hot, and you're hoping, if you're a Mariners fan, that this team stays consistent on offense, because we've seen this happen multiple times over the last few years where the Mariners, they get hot at some point, they have a lead in the division, then they end up losing it by August. So stay consistent on offense. That's going to be the key for the Seattle Mariners. From one team that found consistency on offense to another team that needs to find consistency on offense. Let's talk about the interesting weekend the Houston Astros had. They dropped a series to the Chicago White Sox, losing the 3rd game because it was called early due to rain when they were down a run. Key piece they got back this week, Lance McCullers Jr. nearly pitched 4 shutout innings in his return. He hasn't pitched in over 900 days, so having him back is going to be huge, but I don't know. Coming off of injury, it's always going to be tough. But I think McCullers, who's shown that he's been good while he's healthy, and he's been a championship level pitcher while he's been healthy, That's why the Astros are willing to give him a chance in the rotation, but I always think there wouldn't be such a bad idea to send him down to the bullpen. He's got incredible stuff, don't get me wrong. Got an insanely nasty curveball, and that sinker still got good movement on it. But I think with the amount of money they're paying him, they're trying to fit him back into the rotation, and we're certainly hoping that goes well. Jake Meyers, though, on Saturday had a game to remember. 7 RBIs, had 7 RBIs in one day. Scored 7 of the 8. Had 7 of the 8 runs driven in total. 2 home runs, a triple, and a double. He was a single shy of the cycle. And look, Jake Meyers, here's the thing with him. He's always had the glove to be a very good center fielder in baseball. It's just finding something on offense that's been his issue. He'd have streaks where he'd have 2 or 3 good games, and then suddenly he's nowhere to be found at the plate. I mean, he was going into this game, he was the 9-hole hitter. He was batting last. And out of nowhere, great game. He's been finding some consistency with the stick this year, and I really like seeing that. Especially because Chas McCormick is also coming off of an injury. We don't know what his timetable or what his role on the team is going to be. But as it looks right now, Jake Meyers has thus far earned the starting job in center field for Houston. But the rest of the offense needs to find work, especially now that Yordan Alvarez, who was just announced today, he's going to be going on the injured list so we're not going to have him back for a couple of days. This team needs to figure out how to hit, and they need to figure out how to hit fast. If they need to, at the very least, catch fire in June. To catch fire in June, they need to be at least a couple games above 500 by the end of this month. We're already through the initial phase of the season, so now it's time to start getting serious and think about finding consistency as you go into the dog days of summer. That maybe that's something to consider doing, what the Rangers did this week to finally shake something up in the offense. Christian Walker, he had a good week, but he's been lacking as of late. Yainer Diaz is finally finding that consistency after he was one of the worst hitters in baseball to start the year. He's finally above the Mendoza line. Yordan Alvarez, who I think it was just the hand issue that bothered him. He's put some good swings together when he connects. But I think getting him some time off to let the hand heal, and hopefully that doesn't become a nagging issue the rest of the year for him. Because when Yordan Alvarez is on, he's probably a top 3 MVP candidate easily when he's healthy. One of the best. He's, in my opinion, one of the best pure hitters in baseball. Aside from guys like Ohtani and Judge, Yordan Alvarez can easily be on that list as long as he stays healthy. He has the clutch gene for sure. He's come up huge in the playoffs in the past for the Astros. That's more or less a reason why his the home run call from Game 6 of the World Series, is even in the intro to this show. That's going to be what the Astros really need to do. Maybe get some pieces for the bullpen as well, because as great as Hader is this year, as great as Brian Abreu is in the setup role, finding that consistency for those middle innings is going to be crucial. But it all starts and ends at the plate, and if they can't find consistency on offense, then this team is probably not going anywhere. And if they find that consistency, which I hope they do, this team can do things. And I said this ahead of the year, it's going to be a very interesting season for Houston. This isn't the 2019 team or the 2022 team that just goes out, wins 105 games. They're going to have to grind out for it. And that's going to have to start by finding consistency at the plate. Speaking of the Texas Rangers, though, to what they did this week, their offense has been, for lack of a better word, struggling. I mean, Jock Peterson's struggles are just the beginning. And the Texas Rangers has had difficulty hitting the baseball, with the exception of a game where they scored 8 on the Seattle Mariners. But the Rangers recently announced that they had fired their hitting coach for the remainder of the season, and they already announced who their new hitting coach is gonna be. So they're hoping that that shakes things up on the offensive end for the Texas Rangers. So this division is gonna look pretty interesting going down the stretch. Right now, the top two teams are separated by 2 games. But that second team is going to be the Athletics, which we don't know what that team identity is even going to be, considering they're not even playing in Oakland. They're playing in Sacramento, which they're not even staying in Sacramento because they're going to move to Las Vegas in 3 years, and that's a whole other can of worms as to why they're in Sacramento before they go to Vegas and why they're even moving to Vegas in the first place. But anyway, another story. I mean, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has just been on fire this year. He's been easily, I think, the best hitter, if not in the American League, then in baseball in general. And what he's been doing this season, let me just read you some stats because I love getting into the stats portion of this. Aaron Judge this season has a slash line of 423, 510, and 777. With it, which if you add up the on base and slugging, that totals an OPS of 1,287. An OPS, and that will bring his OPS plus to 263. What absolutely incredible what he's doing. He, needless to say, just saying those out loud, it's ridiculous. You can throw around phrases like video game numbers all you want, but how else could you describe the season that Aaron Judge is having right now? In 2004, Barry Bonds had an OPS plus of 263. And if you want to find some level of comparison to what Judge is doing this year, I mean, and as much as the media loves talking about the Yankees, but I mean, how else could you not talk about as great of a season that Judge is having right now? If he finds that in the playoffs, then the Yankees could go far. If he does that in the playoffs, the unfortunate thing is that he hasn't done that in the playoffs. But if the Yankees want to succeed in October, they're gonna need Aaron Judge to perform like he's doing this year. And I think thus far, this is gonna be a career year for the 2-time MVP. In 2022, he broke the single season home run record in the American League. Right now, he leads the AL in RBI, leads it in batting. He leads it in a lot of different offensive categories aside from home runs. Maybe he's slugged 11 of them so far this year. So we're in for a very interesting season of baseball as we go down the stretch here. As I sign off for the final show, we're gonna head into the dog days. After I sign off for my final show, we're gonna head off into the dog days of summer, and we're gonna see a lot of great baseball being played. So here's to a great season down the stretch, and hopefully I'll be here soon to talk about how that summer went when we return for next semester. What are some series that we could to potentially keep an eye on this week? One in the midweek slate of games I'm keeping an eye on are between the San Francisco Giants and the Chicago Cubs. Now, the American League West has been an incredible division all year, right? Some of the best teams in the league play in that division, and they've played some incredible baseball all year. The Dodgers really goes without saying. They're leading the division. The top 3 in this division are separated by only 1.5 games. That's the Padres, your Giants, and your Dodgers. And the Diamondbacks have a team that's good enough to get back into it. They're 2 games over 500 at 5 games behind the lead. But they have the ability to surprise a lot of people. And that's why for the midweek series of games, watch the series between the Giants and the Chicago Cubs. And another great story this year. The Chicago Cubs have just been incredible. Incredible. They've mostly been led by their offense. They currently lead the National League Central by 3 games, but the Chicago Cubs, man, that team can slug. They can slug, and adding Kyle Tucker was just the perfect addition for the Cubs offense. And finding consistency on the mound is where the Cubs could improve on the most, I think, but they've been playing incredible baseball all year. They're hoping they can carry that down the stretch into the season. But watch that series between the Giants and the Cubs during the week. And this weekend, we have another incredible series as the Dodgers take on the Diamondbacks, another clash of two National League West teams. Dodgers, of course, leading the division, and the Diamondbacks, well, they have the ability if they take one or two, they could be right back into this. But for I mean, these division matchups are going to stack up as we go on further and further into the season. That's why right now this series is going to have some implications already early. If you're the Diamondbacks, you want to go out of this series having taken at least 2 out of 3, but their opponent is the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are the best team in the National League at the moment. So keep an eye on those series as we head down into the summer. Now it's time for one of my favorite segments on this show, where we turn back the clock and tell stories of sporting past. That's right. Welcome to On This Day in Sports History. And what do we have for you this week? Well, on this day in 2012, we'll take you to Wembley Stadium for the 2012 FA Cup final as Chelsea took on Liverpool that year. Chelsea ended up winning that game 2-1 with Didier Drogba scoring the game winner with Chelsea up 1-0, the game winner in the 52nd minute of that game to more or less ice it, keep it a 2-0 lead. Liverpool would strike back during this game, getting themselves on the board, but the full-time whistle blew, 90 minutes complete, and that sealed a 2-1 win and an FA Cup victory for Chelsea. They're 7th overall. We are now more or less down to our final week here on Vaquero Radio, and we got some great programs coming up for you this week. Starting tomorrow with Life in Paris at 10 a.m. and In the Gnome with Beck and Combe at 4. The last newscast of the year for Vaquero Radio will air at 11 a.m. on Wednesday if you missed it today. Also, we have Coffee Noise at 1 p.m. here from our Edinburgh studio. On Thursday, like always, a full slate of programming. Don't miss it. It's the last one we've got. Thursday at 10 a.m. with Library Talk and everything else from Brownsville. At 11:30, RGV Community Health and Vaquero Insider at 1 p.m. And finally, we close out the semester with Office Hour, with the longest running program in Vaquero Radio history, Office Hour at 12 p.m. with our own DJ Doc V. And with that, we are going to wrap up the last show of the 2025 spring semester. It's been great speaking with all of you listeners this semester, and I certainly hope to speak to you all again once we return for the next semester. It's been incredible, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and for listening and for supporting the program and supporting Vaquero Radio and supporting student-led media and supporting student radio. This has been incredible. It's always incredible getting to sit here and talk about sports for an hour every week. I certainly appreciate getting the chance to speak with you all and to do what I do, but we can't do it without you. Thank you all for listening, not just today, but for your support throughout the semester. It's been real. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as we head down to the final stretch of the semester, especially for all you students listening, good luck on finals as we approach that. Study, pay attention, pass your classes, and let's end the semester on a very strong note. I would like to thank you all for listening and thank you all for your support that you've given me throughout the semester. It's been incredible. This has been your host, Ali, and you've listened to All In with Ali. We will hopefully be back in the next semester to talk more sports. But for now, thank you for tuning in. It's been incredible. You stay classy, UTRGV. Good luck on the upcoming finals, and have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your semester. You have listened to All In with Ali and on Vaquero Radio, the Valley Student Station. Have a good one, UTRGV. Goodbye, and we'll speak soon at the start of the next semester.